This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News 9. English news as it should be.
Hello and welcome. You are watching In Your Interest here on News 9. I am Krishna Kumar. As India prepares to welcome the new year 2026, a major crisis is unfolding. Delivery and gig workers are all set to go on strike on New Year's Eve. That's right. This is in the interest of all those of you who are watching this show who are planning to ring in the new year, ordering some delicious food or chocolates or anything that catches your fancy on New Year's Eve, just to spend it quietly or to throw a party at your home. This is certainly in your interest. Delivery workers and gig workers from platforms like Swiggy, Zomato, Zepto, Blinkit, Amazon and Flipkart have all announced a nationwide strike on the 31st of December, and this comes at a time when orders for food, groceries and essentials usually surge astronomically on New Year's Eve. They're not asking for luxury, ladies and gentlemen, they're asking for dignity. They're asking for fairness. And they're asking on the biggest night of the year, because that's when the fallout from the strike will hit where it hurts the most. These workers are protesting over several long-standing issues. Most of them earn between just 15 to 20,000 rupees a month, even after working 10 to 14 hours a day. After paying for fuel, vehicle maintenance, commissions and penalties, their take-home pay often falls below minimum wage levels. And of course, there's little job security, with sudden account blocks possible without proper notice or appeal. Social protection is weak, as accident insurance is patchy, health cover is limited, and there are no guaranteed pensions or benefits for illness, injury or parenthood.
ऐसे बहुत कम देते, किलोमीटर पर 1 किलोमीटर पर 5 रुपए 4 रुपए देते हैं, बहुत ही कम देते हैं। और इंसेंटिव तो बिल्कुल ना के बराबर ही कर दिया।
272 पूरे दिन का इंसेंटिव है सर। इतने में सर क्या होगा हमारा? 300 रुपये तो सर गाड़ी खा जाएगी। 300 रुपये चलते फिरते 10 रुपये 20 रुपये का तो हम लोग कुछ ना कुछ खाते ही खाएंगे। नहीं खाएंगे सर, इसका मतलब ही नहीं सर, पेट भरेगा नहीं सर, तो मतलब ही नहीं है, काम कर नहीं पाएंगा।
पे आउट सुधारने की मांग है। पहले जो ऑर्डर 40 रुपये 35 रुपये के आते थे, वो आज ऑर्डर 15 रुपये के हो गए हैं। टाइम देने के बाद भी हमारा डिक्रीमेंट हो रहा है, इंक्रीमेंट नहीं हो रहा है टीम उसमें कंपनी में। तो उसके लिए मांग है कि पहले किलोमीटर के हिसाब से पैसे मिलते थे, अब किलोमीटर के हिसाब से भी नहीं मिलते हैं। आपको बस एक फिक्स कर दिया है, 15 रुपये से स्टार्ट हो जाएगा, 20 रुपये से स्टार्ट हो जाएगा। उसके लिए सारी प्रॉब्लम है ये।
Now let's talk numbers, because numbers don't lie. India currently has over 11 million, 11.2 million to be precise, gig workers. By the year 2030, that number is expected to reach over 23.5 million, more than almost double. The gig economy is growing at 12 to 13% every year. It's projected to contribute 1.25 trillion rupees to our GDP. 90 million jobs could be supported by this sector. These are staggering figures. This is not a side hustle anymore. This is a massive chunk of our workforce. According to studies like the Fair Work India 2024 report, 9 out of 11 major platforms do not ensure minimum wages after costs. Only 5 of them offer free accident insurance. Contracts favor the companies. No platform recognizes workers' unions or provides clear grievance systems. And long shifts come without overtime pay. The Niti Aayog report tells us that most gig workers are young, between 18 to 23 years of age, and they're educated. Many are doing this part-time while studying or looking for something better. 90% of them have little or no savings. They are just one emergency away from financial collapse and calamity. Over 70% of them struggle to meet their basic monthly expenses. And here's the global comparison that should make us more uncomfortable. Indian gig workers earn about 62% less than their counterparts in other countries. We're not just underpaying them, we're exploiting them on a scale that's hard to justify, really. So tonight the questions go far beyond, will my pizza arrive on New Year's Eve? The questions are, is gig work just informal labor rebranded for the app age? Will fair wages break instant delivery or expose its real cost? Why is social security still on paper only, while gig workers remain unprotected? Joining us on In Your Interest are Mohammad Inayat Ali, National Vice President of Indian Federation of App-Based Transport Workers. We have Mitali Nikore, Founder and Chief Economist of Nikore Associates. We have Rudra Vikram Singh, Advocate, Supreme Court, also joining us. Thank you all of you for taking time out to be with us over here. Let me begin with Mohammad Inayat Ali. Mohammad Inayat Ali ji, ये 31st को स्ट्राइक पे जाने के लिए उन्होंने अनाउंस किया है, लेकिन उनकी मांगे जो हैं ये नए नहीं हैं।
हाँ जी, हेलो
हेलो, बोलिए।
ऑडिबल?
यस, प्लीज गो अहेड।
ओके, नमस्ते सभी को। हमारी मांगे नई नहीं है और हमारी मांगे कुछ स्पेशल भी नहीं है। वर्कर्स तो ये चाहता है कि उसकी रोजी रोटी, उसका घर चल जाए। आपको, हमारा वर्कर्स आपसे लग्जरी लाइफ नहीं मांग रहा, सरकार से हो या फिर इन कंपनियों से हो। हमारी मांगे ये हैं कि जो पे आउट आप घटा चुके हैं, पर किलोमीटर आप जो 10 रुपए देते थे, अब आज 5 से 6 रुपए लाके रखे हैं। तो ये हमारी मांगे हैं कि कैसे नहीं कैसे करके वापस दोबारा आप 10 रुपए का पे आउट कीजिए। और हमारी मांगे ये भी हैं कि आप थ्रेटनिंग मत कीजिए वर्कर्स को कि आप आईडी ब्लॉक कर देंगे जी, आपको करना है तो करो, नहीं तो चले जाओ, गेट आउट फ्रॉम हियर। आप हमारी किचन तक नहीं आ सकते
जी। मोहम्मद इनायत अली, मेरा सवाल बस ये है कि कंपनियों के तरफ से तो उन्हें ठीक करने के लिए काफी कुछ है, लेकिन ये जो स्ट्राइक है ये लोगों को सबसे ज्यादा अफेक्ट करेगा।
नहीं, देखिए, लोगों को अफेक्ट करने की या लोगों को तकलीफ देने की प्रॉब्लम, ये हमारा उद्देश्य नहीं है। हमारा उद्देश्य तो ये है कि हम अपने हक के लिए कुछ मांग रहे हैं इन कंपनियों से। आज भी अगर कंपनी बोलती है कि आप 10 रुपए दे दो,
ठीक है,
अब हम पे आउट बढ़ा देंगे, आपकी सोशल सिक्योरिटी के बारे में हम सोचेंगे, और आपको जो 10 मिनट्स डिलीवरी में वर्कर्स की जान जा रही है तो उसको हम हटा देंगे, तो अब अभी आपके मीडिया के चैनल के सामने हम ये प्रोटेस्ट को वापस ले लेंगे। व्हाट इज एन इशू?
क्या आपको लग रहा है कुछ रेजोल्यूशन होने वाला है 31st के पहले?
कंपनी बात करने के लिए तैयार नहीं है ना।
ओके,
कंपनी आए, लेबर मिनिस्टर के थ्रू बात, लेबर मिनिस्टर हम भी रहेंगे, मीडिया भी रहे, आराम से बात करें। हमारे को क्या है, बस वर्कर का अगर प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होता है, दैट इज एनफ फॉर अस।
गॉट इट, लाउड एंड क्लियर।
ये इंटरेस्ट जो है क्लियरली यूनियन लीडर से ज्यादा वर्कर्स का है। Because they are dying in the roads.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't have any social security.
Yeah. We have Shubhamoy Bhattacharjee, consulting editor of the Business Standard, also with us. Thank you, Shubhamoy, for taking time out to be with us on the show. Let me come to you and then take it to the rest of the people on the panel. One is that, this is the troubles with the gig economy has been going on for a while. And, every single time there's a New Year's or any one of these days, Diwali, the day after is always about the number of deliveries and all the crazy statistics, that one reads about, anything from quick commerce deliveries to food deliveries. And here you are, the people who are making that happen, who are demanding the most basic of rights.
Well, yes, they are. And frankly speaking, it is possible for the companies to consider it because it's not a question of whether the profitability goes down. I would think that after all, the gig workers also are part of the consumption. A higher payout to them, as we are getting to hear, as we know, and Mitali Nikore would sort of bear me out, that a higher consumption multiplier actually works good for the economy. So it's a good idea that that the workers get paid more. However, the big challenge that will come along is that these people are not employees. They are contract partners. Now there is a challenge there, that who exactly will be picking up the ball in terms of providing, you're talking about the social security net. Is it there is a health insurance, or rather there's an accident insurance that the NCAR report on the gig economy, which is the most definitive report that has come out and has been over the last 3 years, has shown that there's almost all companies provide accident insurance, but they don't provide social security insurance. Now, is it the responsibility of a company whose employees are not the gig workers to provide the social security insurance, or is it something that the governments of the, say, the states have to look into? Actually, if you look at it, it is the urban economy which is developing. This is the urban economy problem. And frankly speaking, our Indian states have really not been addressing the challenge of the urban economy. So I think it's a good time to look at that, whether the states, instead of thinking, freebies and other things, why don't they, for instance, think about looking at the gig workers and provide a social security insurance.
Okay.
I think that is probably a better starting point to start off with. About the demand and supply, which the workers and the companies would be working out, those I suppose could come next.
Okay.
So that's my first point.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Rudra Vikram Singh, this seems to be a grey area, but at the end of the day, you're talking about workers who do have, some kind of a contract, some kind of a dealing with an organization, and they had to be protected by laws or, the governments, either the state level or the central level. Where does, the law lie in this case?
See, the problem is, as the earlier panelist has said, that there is no employee and employment relationship between these workers and the employer. So the first problem is there is no relation of employee and employer. So there has to be a relation of employee and employer. Once there would be a relation between employer and employer, between these workers and the employer of such kind of providers, then I think more than 50% problem will be solved, because then they will come under the Industrial Dispute Act. They can go in the labor, they can file
You're
cases.
saying the nature of the contract between the gig workers and the respective platforms have to change. There needs to be a better documented
yes, because they are not contract worker. They are working for more than 7-8 hours in a day. They don't have any social security insurance. They don't have any, as he was saying, that some companies are providing some accidental claim, but I don't think so. All companies are providing accidental insurance for them. So there is no accidental insurance, and everybody is in the era of competition. Everybody is saying that okay, they are delivering in 10 minutes. I will deliver in 8 minutes, 9 minutes. So this is the problem in the era of competition. We as a customer, we want everything in a hurry. We want just in seconds, but nobody is thinking about these workers. Now I think the time has come that we'll have to think about them, to whom we are expecting 10 minutes delivery, but what about their social security?
Absolutely.
So it is the good time, it is the peak time. I think they have decided a good time on 31st that for the strike, I am fully supporting, and I think government should consider this. Government
Yeah.
should come out with this, that Social Security 2020 draft, that they should come with that draft, because that was drafted in 2022. Now we are sitting in the 2025 and there is no Social Security policy. So the government should come out with some policy, with some assurance that they should have some kind of insurance, or they should have some kind of security, at least some job security, some life security. So this is the problem that has to be sorted out.
Mitali Nikore, this is what classically in economics is called informal economy, informal jobs. But look at it, 90 million jobs, 1.1 trillion rupees to the GDP. This requires national level policy making.
Absolutely, Krishna. In fact, this is what we call in economics the problem of the commons, right? It's a problem that no one really wants to solve because it's not their problem. And yet it's everyone's problem. So I think, I just want to take 2 minutes and lay out this issue a little bit more, even from the employer lens, because this is not just a problem of the gig workers, but it also affects smaller platforms. See, we always see Zomato, Swiggy, Amazon. These are larger platforms, but there are new startups that are also reliant on gig workers, that are also reliant on keeping their costs low. Like when Porter started, it was a tiny platform. It has grown to the size that it has because they were able to access the kind of workers that were available in the economy. Also, a number of gig workers, I have also had consultations, at Nikor Associates with number of gig worker unions and with women, who are now starting to work as gig workers in a number of platforms. There are serious challenges of infrastructure, which, is not just an issue of the companies. Even the companies have been actually talking to local governments. And I want to give you a positive example of the Greater Chennai Corporation, which has actually set up rest areas for platform workers across the city, because they believe that, the workers have the right to rest during the extreme heat waves and during, the rain and the floods that come in Chennai. Now, why can't we have a national policy on rest areas for gig workers? Why can't we have a national policy for restrooms for gig workers? Because honestly, going to the restroom is a right that is hardly afforded to any gig worker today. And especially the women, who are doing this. So I would really say that at this point in time, there is a bell the cat situation. There are some, efforts that have to be made by the government first before anyone else does. The first one is guaranteeing the social security, which is embodied in the labor codes. The social security fund is there. Setting minimum floor wages for platform work. That is something that the government can do. It can be done in consultation with the platform. Like, our friend from Business Standard has also said that it's very important that, we create this kind of an economy, because it will encourage consumption for the platforms as well. And that's where, working together with the larger platforms and the smaller platforms, you have to set floors and saying we are not going to pay below this. We will not let the, hourly payout go below this. See, we cannot have a worker and employee relationship in the case of gig work, because that is not how those companies are structured anywhere globally. But Singapore has actually done this. They've set floor wages, they've set contributions, and the labor codes also call for all the companies that use platform workers to contribute to the social security fund, which they have agreed to do. So I think, there is a need for government leadership here.
Yeah, there is absolutely a need for government leadership in this. Mohammad Inayat Ali, मैं सिर्फ ये पूछना चाहूँगा कि what have been the response from the companies so far? This is a fight that you've been fighting. अभी तक company के तरफ से क्या कहा जा रहा है?
अभी तक तो उनसे कुछ बात ही नहीं हुई. वो बात करने के लिए तैयार नहीं है. बस वर्कर्स को ये धमकी दे रहे हैं कि देखो, अगर तुम हम ऐसा को आप स्ट्राइक करेंगे तो हम आपको पुलिस को बोल के बंद करवा देंगे.
Really, all platforms are saying this? सारे कंपनियां यही कह रहे हैं?
Some Zomato and Swiggy store managers are telling like this. We have the records. If अगर मीडिया चाहती है कि प्ले कर दो तो मैं आपको दे दूंगा वो आर्टिकल और मटेरियल. और ये क्लियरली थ्रेटनिंग करते हैं कि देखो ऐसा ही है, हम नहीं करेंगे करना। वो चंद अभी ये हमारे प्रोटेस्ट को फ्लॉप करने के लिए चंद वर्कर से हमको फोन करवा के बोल रहे हैं कि देखो मांगे पूरी कर लेंगे, आप एक काम करो स्ट्राइक नहीं करेंगे बोल के अनाउंस कर दो करके कॉल्स करवा रहे हैं।
लेकिन कुछ बट दे आर नॉट गिविंग एनी गारंटीज दैट आपके मांगे पूरी होंगे।
व्हाट आई एम टेलिंग, हमारी मांगे अगर आपको पूरा करना है तो आपका ऑफिशियल प्लेटफॉर्म है, ट्विटर हैंडल पे आप अनाउंस कर दो, या मीडिया पे आप स्टेटमेंट दे दो, या फिर आप लिखित रूप में दे दो, या फिर अपने जहां जहां पे लेबर कमिश्नर रहता है उस ऑफिस पे आओ, आप क्या करते हैं आप अग्री करो, वी विल स्टॉप द प्रोटेस्ट, वी डोंट नीड टू। इनका टाइम वेस्ट करना हमें भी पसंद नहीं है, ये भी रोजी रोटी कमाने वाले हैं।
Like Rudra Vikram Singh, when the company, that's what the company has to say. What can the gig workers do? What kind of legal protections do they have? They have the right to go on strike, and if this is how they're going to be blackmailed, what legal options do they have?
See, if anybody is blackmailing, then there is a provision of lodging an FIR. They can go to the local police station. They can lodge an FIR if anybody is trying to blackmail them. That is another provision that is not related to this labor law or anything else. But that is a criminal provision. Under that, you can lodge an FIR if anybody is trying to blackmail either your employer or anybody else. But what I'm talking here, that at least labor laws should be applicable. So labor laws will be applicable to them only if there would be a relation of employer and employer. If there is no employer and employer relation, you want to have it contract basis, then there has to be some sort of guideline from the government side. Like there was a draft.
So,
I was feeling that.
So Rudra Vikram Singh is saying they can't do much at this stage.
So if they cannot do, then they are doing what they can do. They are doing their protest.
So which means we're looking at a full-blown strike one way or the other.
If it really happen on 31st, if the protest will go on the 31st, you will see what will happen in the country. So they will also face the consequences, and as a customer, we also face the consequences.
अभी तक हमारा 2 से 3 लाख वर्कर्स इस प्रोटेस्ट के लिए ऑलरेडी हमारे से कांटेक्ट में है। इंशाल्लाह अभी देखते हैं और एक दिन में और ज्यादा वर्कर्स हमारे समर्थन में इस प्रोटेस्ट में हैं। मगर ये प्रॉब्लम क्या करते हैं, हम देखिए, हम घर पे रह के, मैं इस मीडिया के द्वारा मैं हमारे सारे वर्कर्स को ये बोल रहा हूँ, आप प्रोटेस्ट करें, अपने घर में रहकर अपनी ड्यूटी को ऑफलाइन रखकर आप घर पे रहिए, आपके फैमिली के साथ टाइम स्पेंड करें। मगर ये वर्कर्स को, ये जो स्टोर वाले हैं, किचन वाले हैं, ये इनको घर पे रहने नहीं देते, इनको कॉल करते हैं, बुलाते हैं कि वहां फिर क्या करते हैं कि जबरदस्ती बोलते हैं कि आप बुकिंग लो, एडवांस बुकिंग करवाते हैं उनकी 3-3 दिन की। और फिर अगर वर्कर मना करता है तो वहां पे थोड़ा शोर शराबा होगा, तो फिर ये क्या करते हैं कि देखो वर्कर इज गैदरिंग, और ये अपने प्राइवेट प्रॉपर्टी में आके हल्ला किए बोल के उनपे केसेस लगाने वाला काम करते हैं। जो 5 लोग यही बेलंदूर स्टेशन में बैंगलोर पे इन्होंने पकड़ा के रखा था, जहां पे हम अपनी यूनियन की तरफ से जाके उनको छुड़ा के लेके आए। जो वर्कर घर पे बैठा है उसको फोन करके बुलाना, उसको अपने कम से कम 100 से 200 वर्कर को बुला के और उनको जबरदस्ती बोलेंगे, वर्कर नहीं मानेगा तो फिर क्या होगा, वहां पे कुछ अफरा तफरी होगी, तो उसका फायदा उठा के पुलिस को बुलाएंगे और इनको अंदर करवा रहे हैं।
Shubhamay Bhattacharya, this looks like a situation that's not going to have a very easy resolution at this stage. If that's what the workers are being subjected to by companies, if that's the kind of pressure and intimidation that they're being put to, then it looks like, first of all, this strike is going to go ahead as planned on the 31st of December, and then the fallout of that is not going to be very easy to solve.
Well, I'm not, I'm not a pessimist, so I wouldn't say that it's, looking like a confrontation that is going to happen and all that. I think there are much saner voices going around. And I would say though, so look at this way, the Code on Social Security, which has been passed by Parliament and now also has become a labor code, and with the rules passed, that is already for the first time defined gig workers and platform workers. That's a very positive development. So the government has actually moved on there. This wasn't there earlier. Then the PMJY scheme, it provides a cover of about 5 lakh per family per year for both for these workers. What is necessary is, and also the Code on Social Security, that also provides several benefits and facilities for contract workers also. So, all of these, first of all, need to be popularized, and I think needs to be brought home to the workers that these are available. Irrespective of whether the companies are doing anything to you, these are some things that are available to you. You can take it on. The next part is what is possible. All companies will not be the same type. So the government sort of cannot mandate that, you'll have to have this sort of a profit sharing or that sort of a thing. I mean, then we are in trouble. Those obviously cannot happen. What can happen is, however, as Mithali also was saying, that let's say that the state governments take the lead in terms of doing what they can do. The challenge what's coming along is that the gig workers in any state are not necessarily those state citizens, voters. So what happens is states are not very often as keen to help them out as they are to help the farm laborers. This is a major thing that the states need to understand. A gig worker in Chennai, a gig worker in Delhi, a gig worker in Bombay is not necessarily a voter in that state. So often the municipal or the state government say, what is in it for me if I help them out? So, those are the issues that need to be sorted out. So I wouldn't say it is a one by one, sort of a by 1:1 attrition thing that is happening. It's an issue that needs a government to first of all see what are the things that they can do, and then nudge the companies to basically see what are the best effort possible. Sort of one of the things that citizens groups can come along to say is that, look, do I know how much is this gig worker of this particular company getting? If that sort of an information comes out, then that also works as a social pressure. Maybe companies might not feel very comfortable knowing, making it obvious that they have cut rates. So, a voluntary action with state action, then voluntary action by the citizen probably has much more chance of getting this thing into a much better atmosphere than what we are talking about right now of, attrition, which company is doing that. I think we have got a lot of space here for positive actions to happen this way. Yeah.
We're almost running out of time over here. Mithali Nikore, one last comment from you. The gig workers might not be part of the vote rate, but the customers certainly are, at least on humanitarian grounds and in public interest. It's up to the state governments to first start taking some action.
No, absolutely. And I love what Shubhamoy said, that, at the end of the day, if we can increase, our sort of action on this, if the person who is ordering on the gig platform can add a tip, that goes a long way into actually increasing the earnings of the person who's delivering to you. If you can, give them a glass of water, that adds, so that humanitarian action is something that anyone who's using the platforms should show.
Yeah, and also, would you also subscribe to the idea that, at least for the 31st of this year, if consumers can not order and probably start cooking at home and, help them out.
So, Krishna, I'll never say that because,
do they have time to take glass of water?
I'll just complete. So I was saying I'll never say that because the person who ends up cooking is always the woman.
Okay.
And I will never say that, we should increase women's unpaid work.
Okay.
If men can do the cooking on 31st, let's all show that men can take up housework and that they can cook for their families, their wives, their mothers, their daughters and their sisters.
Okay, fair enough. That's one certain way of, helping society at a massive level, from women down to gig workers. It benefits both of them. Shubhamoy, you also wanted to come in quickly. We have 30 seconds left.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I was just saying that I quite appreciate what Mithali was saying.
All right, fair enough. Rudra Vikram Singh, you wanted to come in quickly. 30 seconds.
I was just saying that Mithali was saying that we should offer one glass of water. I was saying that do they have time to take glass of water? Because they have to go for
they don't.
Yeah.
I think just give that bottle. Please, play jao.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly, you're saying it on a lighter note, but that's certainly something that's very basic that all watching this show, watching this broadcast, watching this channel can easily start doing, starting from the next order. You don't have to wait till today evening, tomorrow night, whenever. You can start doing it from the next order. You start providing that humanitarian ground first. Okay, 10 seconds. मोहम्मद
एक पॉइंट मैं ऐड करता हूं कि आप प्लीज सारे आपके यूजर्स जो हैं, मैं अपने डिलीवरी वर्कर्स को लिफ्ट यूज कर दे दीजिए और नो पार्किंग का जो समस्या होता है, अगर कंपाउंड के बाहर पार्किंग करेगा तो पुलिस उठा के लेके जाएगी, अंदर सोसाइटी में अंदर करेगा तो आपका वॉचमैन नहीं छोड़ेगा।
Okay.
मैं ये भी आपसे गुजारिश करता हूँ